I am picking up on somebody who has been trying to really hard to push these feelings aside, but they just can't. It's almost like no matter how much they keep themselves or how much they tell themselves it's time to move on, the thoughts always like find a way back to you. This isn't somebody like who is confused about how they feel anymore. I think they have accepted that they have very deep feelings for you. The problem with this person is they don't know what to do with those feelings. Like this person thinks about you far more often than you realize. I keep feeling that your energy comes into their mind at the most unexpected moments. They could be driving somewhere, listening to music, trying to focus on work, or even like talking to other people, and suddenly you are there. Something reminds them of you, and it's like they lose focus for a few seconds because their mind starts replaying memories. I also feel that nights are especially difficult for this person. During the day they can distract themselves, but when everything becomes quiet, like that's when their emotions become impossible to ignore. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if some of them have trouble like sleeping or they keep checking their phone like before going to bed, because it feels like there are so conversations they wish they had gone differently, things they wish they could tell you but they don't know how to bridge that gap. Okay, because see, they wish they could take back their words. Like now I'm beginning to understand why this person hasn't been able to move on, because I think it's simply because they miss you. I feel there is a particular conversation, argument, or misunderstanding that keeps playing over and over in their mind. It's almost like they have memorized every detail of that moment. They remember what was said, how it was said, and most importantly, what they should have said instead. Like, I don't feel, okay, this person reacted from a place of clarity. So, whatever happened between the two of you, I kept sensing they allowed pride, fear, or hidden emotions to speak for them. At a time, they probably felt justified, but the more distance, that's come between you, the more they have started seeing things differently. It's amazing, like how silence can change someone's perspective. Because for some of you, this person has plenty of opportunities to reach out and clear the air. But every time they think about, it, they worry they have already done too much damage. They don't know whether an apology would be welcomed or rejected. And that uncertainty is keeping them stuck. So instead of fixing the situation, they keep reliving it inside their own head. Okay, and songs are reminding them of you. This card tells me that this connection follows them into their everyday life in ways they never expected. It isn't always big reminders either. Like sometimes it's the smallest things, and a song they weren't expecting to hear, a place they drove fast, a certain phrase like somebody said, and immediately you are back on their head, on their mind. Because I don't think they have been successful at separating themselves from this connection. Because life keeps bringing pieces of you back to them. Music feels especially significant here. I wouldn't be surprised if there are certain songs this person avoids listening to because they know exactly where the songs will take them emotionally. So, and then, like, there are other times when they intentionally play those songs because for a few minutes it almost feels like you are still part of their world. It's bittersweet, but I do feel they find themselves sitting with those memories more often than they like to admit it. So, what I'm noticing is that these reminders don't just make them nostalgic, they make them reflect. Every reminder seems to bring another realization about what this connection actually meant to them. Like sometimes people only understand the value of someone's presence after they have experienced what life feels like without it. And that's exactly what I'm picking up here. Because, see, I hope you can forgive me one day. Or I hope that you can forgive me one day. The energy is becoming much softer now. I feel this person has spent a lot of time thinking about what happened between the two of you. And the more they reflect on it, the more they begin to understand like your side of the story. Sometimes when we are hurt or overwhelmed, we become so confused or defending, like defending ourselves that we don't stop to think about how our actions affected someone else. I think that's exactly what happened here. Because I don't feel this person expect forgiveness right away. In fact, I almost feel they're questioning whether they deserve it at all because they know that saying I'm sorry does not automatically erase everything that happened. That's why they have been sitting with this guilt instead of rushing back into your life. They're afraid that if they reach out too soon, it might seem like they are apologizing just to make themselves feel better rather than genuinely making things right. For some of you, I feel this person has imagined this conversation so many times. Like they have thought about what they would say if they ever had another chance to speak with you. Okay? But every time, like they play that conversation out in their mind, fear steps in and convinces them to stay silent. Why? Because they know they messed up everything. This feels like a moment of accountability. I don't think this person is blaming circumstances anymore. They're starting to recognize that some of the distance between the two of you didn't just happen on its own. It happened because of choices they made, things they ignored, or emotions they didn't know how to handle at the time. So, what is interesting is that I don't feel this realization happened overnight. It feels like life has been teaching them some difficult lessons. Sometimes we don't understand the value of someone until we experience life without them. And I think the separation has forced them to look at themselves in a way they never did before. Okay. I'm also picking up that this realization feels heavy. It's one thing to admit you made a mistake, but it's another thing to wonder whether you have lost the chance to fix it. So that's where this person's mind keeps going. They're not only thinking about what happened, they are thinking about whether there's still a future left to fight for because it's time for me to heal now. So, this message tells me that this person has reached a point where they know something has to change. They can't keep carrying the same pain, making the same decisions, or reacting from the same wounds. Okay, I actually feel they're beginning to understand that healing isn't just about, getting over the past. It's about becoming someone who won't repeat the past. Okay, for some of you, this person has been doing a lot of quiet reflection. They may not be telling anyone what is really going on inside them, but I do feel there has been a shift in their thinking. Okay, they're starting to ask themselves like difficult questions about why they reacted the way they did and what needs to change before they can have a healthier connection with anyone, especially with you. I also want to say this to you as the reader, if this person truly is healing, you will notice it through consistent actions, not just beautiful words. Real healing always shows itself through change, behavior, because, see, it was my fault, but I blamed you. So, this is probably one of the strongest messages in this reading. Okay, I feel this person knows that at one point it was easier to point the finger at you than to take responsibility for what was really happening inside themselves. Sometimes people project their fears, insecurities, or frustrations onto the person they love the most because facing their own truth feels much harder. So I don't think they're proud of that anymore. In fact, I feel a lot of embarrassment around this card. Like they look back now and realize that some of the things they accused you of weren't actually about you. Like they were reflections of their own fears, and unfortunately, you ended up carrying the weight of emotions that never truly belonged to you. So, if you have been wondering that whether this person understands the pain they caused, I do feel that awareness is growing. It does not erase what happened, but it does tell me they are beginning to see the situation through a much more honest lens than they did before. Like, I look for you everywhere. So this card gives me the feeling that this person is searching for pieces of you without even realizing. They are doing it. They notice people who resemble you, okay? They wonder if you will walk into familiar places. Sometimes they catch themselves looking around a crowded room for no particular reason, only to realize they were happening, like hoping to see you there, even when they tell themselves they're moving forward. Okay, I don't think they have fully let go. It's almost like a part of them is still expecting life to somehow bring the two of you back into each other's path. Okay, whether that's true coincidence, timing, or another opportunity, I feel they haven't completely given up on that possibility. Okay, the strongest thing I am taking from this card is that your absence has become incredibly noticeable to this person. Sometimes we don't realize like how deeply someone has become woven into our daily life until they're no longer there. And I think that's exactly what this person has been experiencing. They're not just missing you, they're missing the space you used to feel in their world. Okay, and like you speak to me through music. Okay, so this feels a little different from simply being reminded of you through sounds here. It's almost feel like this person looks for answers in music. So whenever they are feeling overwhelmed or they don't know how to process their emotions, they end up listening to songs that somehow describe exactly what they are going through. Okay, it's almost like they are searching for words they haven't been able to say themselves. I also feel this person wonders whether the universe is trying to tell them something. They like hear certain lyrics at the exact moment they are thinking about you, and it catches them off guard. Like for a brief second they stop and think, why did I need to hear that right now? Whether they admit it or not, I do feel that they connect those moments back to this connection. For some of you, I wouldn't even be surprised, like if this person has a playlist they never shared with anyone. Songs that remind them of different stages of your connection. Every time they go back and listen, it's like they're reopening a chapter they haven't been able to close. Okay, so I want to reach out, but I'm afraid. So this person has imagined reaching out to you more times than you probably realize. So I actually see them starting conversations in their mind before they have even picked up their phone. They think about what they would say, like how you might respond, whether you do reply immediately or leave them on read. They play out every possible outcome. And before they know it, they have convinced themselves not to send anything at all. Okay, because see, the interesting thing is, I don't actually think they're afraid of rejection itself. I think they're afraid of what rejection would mean. Because see, if they finally gather the courage to reach out and they realize you have already moved on, or that your heart no longer has a place for them, like they will have to accept that this chapter is truly over. And as long as they stay silent, a small part of them can still hold on to hope. So reaching out means facing reality. And I don't think they're emotionally ready for that yet. So every day they tell themselves, maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow keeps turning into another tomorrow. Okay, and that's why nothing changes. And I wish I had treated you better. Okay, so I don't think they are only grieving the relationship here. I think they're grieving the version of themselves they wish you had experienced. Like they keep wondering, what if I had been more patient? What if I had listened instead of reacting? What if I had shown them the love I felt instead of expecting them to just know? So those questions don't seem to leave them. And unfortunately, there are no easy answers once the moment has already passed. So, so many things remind me of you. The memories, don't seem to arrive one at a time. It's almost like this person lives in a world that's quietly filled with reminders of you. Certain routines, familiar places, even ordinary moments somehow bring your energy back into their mind. And I don't feel they're expecting it anymore. These reminders catch them off guard. I also feel they're terrified to create distance emotionally, but the heart does not always cooperate with the plans we make in our mind, right? So every time they think they're finally moving forward, another memory appears. And they're reminded that they haven't completely let go. Okay, so this card tells me that the connection hasn't become smaller with time. If anything, the absence had made them appreciate it even more. And the timing just wasn't right for us. This person like spends a lot of time wondering what might have happened if life had brought the two of you together like under different circumstances. Okay, they don't necessarily feel that the love was missing. They feel the timing worked against the connection. Whether it was responsibilities, emotional immaturity, fear, distance, or other people influencing the situation, they believe something kept getting in the way. Now, I don't want to give you a little clarity here because I don't want you carrying unnecessary guilt. Timing can absolutely affect a relationship. That's true. But it's also true that timing does not excuse everything. Because healthy relationships still require honesty, communication, and effort. So while this person may genuinely believe that timing played a role, I also feel that they are beginning to recognize the choices they made within the timing. I think that's an important distinction. See, they are no longer putting all the responsibility on fate. They are like slowly beginning to understand the part they played as well. I can't stop thinking about. So, this card feels different from the beginning of the reading because these thoughts have now become persistent. It's almost like this person has reached the point where thinking about you has become part of their everyday routine. They wake up wondering how you're doing. They go to sleep wondering if you're thinking about them too. Even if they don't want to admit it, your presence is still woven into their daily life. Like also keep sensing that they compare other people to you without even realizing it. They will meet someone new, have a conversation, or experience something different, and somewhere in the back of their mind, they're measuring it against what they shared with you. Like is that one of the reasons moving on has felt so difficult? So this connection still occupies a space in the heart that no one else has managed to replace. So I wish I could share my good news with you. Okay, so this one honestly made me pause for, because it tells me that even during happy moments, this person's mind still reaches for you. Whenever something exciting happens in their life, okay, there is this instinct to tell you first, and then reality sets in. They remember the distance between you, and that excitement suddenly feels like incomplete. It makes me feel that your opinion still matters to them. They still wonder what you would say, whether like you did be proud of them, whether you did smile the way you used to. That's not something people usually think about unless someone has left a meaningful mark on their heart. Like for some of you, this person has accomplished things recently, but those achievements haven't felt as fulfilling because like they couldn't celebrate them with the person they wanted beside them. Like I'm becoming to become a better person. Okay. Now this doesn't feel like someone trying to impress you. It actually feels very quiet. I think this person has spent a lot of time sitting with themselves and they have started recognizing parts of their personality they never wanted to acknowledge before. Sometimes losing someone important forces us to look at ourselves in a way we never would have otherwise. And I think that's exactly what's been happening here. I'm not picking up on somebody who is suddenly like become perfect. Growth does not happen overnight. But I do feel they're becoming more emotionally aware. Like they're beginning to understand how their fears, their pride, or their past experiences affected the way they treated the people they care about. And that's a huge step because real change always begins with self awareness. I also want to remind you of something. If this person truly is becoming a better version of themselves, you won't have to guess. You will see it in the way they communicate, the way they handle conflict, and the way they show up consistently. Because real growth isn't something that has to be announced. It naturally becomes visible, like through someone's actions, right? So, I left you before you could leave me. Oh my God. Like, I don't think this person walked away because they stopped loving you. I actually think they were preparing themselves for heartbreak long before anything had even gone wrong. It's almost like they kept waiting for the moment you did realize they weren't enough for you. I don't know why, but instead of risking that pain, actually they convinced themselves that it would hurt less if they were the one to leave first. Okay? Because you know what's really sad about this energy? Like people who expect to be abandoned often end up creating the very ending they fear the most because they become distant. They overthink, they push people away, not because they want to lose them, but because they're trying to protect themselves from a pain that hasn't even happened yet. So, unfortunately, that protection ends up becoming what? Self sabotage. I think this person is only beginning to understand that now. And like finding out the truth crushed me. So, this message feels incredibly heavy, like because I think this person has been forced to face a truth they weren't ready to accept. For some of you, the truth was realizing they lost someone who genuinely loved them. For others, it was realizing that their own actions created consequences they couldn't undo. Whatever the situation is for you, I don't feel this realization came immediately. It arrives slowly, and that's often the hardest kind of truth to live with because like unfolding over time. It keeps unfolding over time. I also feel this person has been carrying a lot more emotional pain than they have allowed anyone to see. They may appear fine on the outside, but internally they are still processing everything that happened between the two of you. There is a part of them that's grieving not just the relationship but the future they once imagined with you. And the strongest match is I want to leave you with this that this reading has shown me someone who loves you, misses you, regrets their choices, and is beginning to understand themselves on a much deeper level. But your journey isn't about waiting for somebody else's healing to be complete. So, your journey is about continuing to choose yourself, protecting your own peace, and allowing life to unfold naturally. So, if this person is truly meant to return, let them return as someone who has genuinely changed, not as the same version who once hurt you. Okay, so if this reading resonated with your situation, I'd genuinely love to hear from you. You can let me know in the comments by simply saying that I claim this reading or by sharing whatever part of this message spoke to your heart the most. I read your comments every single day and I love hearing your stories. If you did like to support the channel and receive more readings like this, don't forget to like this video, okay? Subscribe if you haven't already and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future uploads. As always, take what resonates, leave what does not, and remember, Taro is here to offer guidance and clarity, but you are the one who has the power to shape your own path. Thank you so much for spending your time with me. Today, I will see you in my next reading. Take care of yourself.